Ladies and gents, welcome back to the semi-finals of KPMM 14. As soon as Dimu found hope, he may be about to be thrown into despair. Anotand has got the HRE pick into Malians on a very rushable map with an insanely rushable spawn here. Tough beginnings in this game for Dimu, but with what he had left, this was definitely his most logical, strongest pick. He had English, Ottomans, or Malians. HRE would have neutered any one of those. Against English, HRE looked pretty good. Against Ottomans, was Ottoman doing half the matchups at the moment, I feel like. So Malian's definitely the safest pick for Dimu. But Anotand really just firing with all cylinders with his most powerful pick. And the Spearman Rush opening just super effective against Malians in general. HRE, one of the best civs to do it because of their better economy and their better movement speed on the spears. Makes it even harder, actually, for Dimu to come out and repair because of the risk of getting grabbed by those Spearmen. But Dimu, he's tried to be very kind of lean about this. You may notice he's only gone for a double house play. We don't quite have room for the defensive landmark drop, so likely we're still going to be looking at a play into the Mansa. So this is kind of a test, right, on how big of a deal the buffs to Malian's building HP was. You know, does the house difference, does the pit mine difference matter? Does it add up? Definitely a question we're going to get to see answered here. You predict mine work? If I had to list 3 players on the ladder right now that would likely do mine work, I put Anotand, I put B, I probably put Cat. So it's definitely in the realm of possibilities here. Playing Spear plus Horseman is really good against Malians as well. The unit that Malians hate the most is in fact Spearmen, because it counts Javelins. With the All Pikes, you actually counter Dunzos. You counter Cavalry, right? It's just a win-win-win-win-win. And if your opponent goes Archers, you just spam Archers as well. Or you go to the Horseman switch with All Pikes, which still makes you incredibly threatening. So, Outpost Rush coming up. And it is going to be the Mansa. So Dimu not looking to go for that defensive landmark. He knows that's kind of a signal of death. Villager is going to be pulled for the repair. But Anotand, is he getting ready for a dive? Yeah, he's trying to be crafty about this. He got closer. If he catches Dimu not looking, doink, just grabs him straight away. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to move closer. There we go. Has got the charge in. And he waits long enough. But unfortunately, doesn't get the surround. That was almost sick. You see what he done, though? He intentionally just waited and waited and waited until Dimu was like, I guess he's not going to do it. Looks away to kind of reallocate his scout or go for the other pit mine and then immediately slaps him. Unfortunately, Anotand didn't quite get it there. Does have the outpost coming up, though. Should better garrison and scare away the villager now. And that means he will get the pit mine kill. I actually really like the way Anotand done that. He basically only wanted to pull the Spearman away to say, hey, Dimu, you can't have this anymore. Reason being is, like, if you just try to harass the villagers, Dimu's now looking again. He's already attacking up and everything. If you get the pit mine, that's still 150 wood down the drain for your opponent. Scout has sniffed out the second location where Dimu's looking for a pit mine. Problem right now for Dimu is... Yeah, there it is. So the problem with Dimu is, like, he's kind of handcuffed on some of his options, right? He has to now go Archers, which sets Anotand up really nicely for a Horseman switch. I don't think we're going to be seeing pro scouts this game. I think Anotand wants a swift end to the series. He's only got 9 sheep left compared to the 16 at Dimu, so if he doesn't want to play pro scouts, he's definitely kind of living on a threaded play here. But one of the cool things about playing mine work is you can move your villagers out. You don't have to necessarily have that pro scouts. Because right now, the concern for Dimu is if he goes pro scouts and Anotand's going all in, you're probably just going to be dead upon arrival on the dim. Especially against men-at-arms, and Spearmen rather, the HRE, which are so quick, they can actually chase down pro scouters easily. And there's the archer range play. I know, hasn't moved on. There we go. Moving on the wood now. So we will see him shifting soon. You have 2 options. You could just go like double archer range and outmass, but Horseman feels a bit safer. The problem is definitely going to be the food situation, but with double back deer, like I don't think he's going to be too phased by that detail. Why is HRE still a top civ in the Pro Scouts meta? Because their economy is good enough that they can actually mirror a lot of civs timings on Pro Scouts. They're not going to beat China or Zhuji to the timing, but they won't be far behind. They're also a very good anti-Pro Scouting civ. HRE, because of the march drills and spears, can chase down enemy deer gatherers easily. And because they're better economy, they can blob enough units to kind of intercept. So, yeah, HRE pretty damn solid. I'd say like a top 4 Maybe top 5 Civ and Pro Scouts. So hunt stats for Spimman just came in. Interesting. Do we have... This should just be for wheelbarrow, right? No, I think because he sees the mill, right? He can just about see it. Why else would Doomy build a mill like this? He's got plenty of sheep left over. He doesn't want to rush cattle. You've blocked his goal, so he can't rush cattle. So Anotand has seen this. He goes, okay, well, he's going pro scouts. He doesn't want to be left out of the discussion. So Anotand is now macroing for his own pro scouts play. Doomy does, of course, have those archers to remove the spearman threat for the time being. Gotta be very careful, though. Like, 3 archers running into 8 spearmen on a deer stack will just die. The other really important thing for Anotand, I think maybe why he's a little bit surprised Doomy still wanted to commit to this. Look at where the deer stack is, guys. There's a reason Anotand placed the outpost here instead of here or here. It secures the deer stack that should be easiest for Doomy to attain. And now, as a result, Anotand, knowing this area is guarded, sends all of the spearmen to the east side to intercept. Oh, this is brutal. Anotand has just played this opening to perfection. The Warrior Scouts will try to shuffle away, but he knows he's going to have to drop the deer. Against normal spears, you could probably kind of finesse it with the extra movement speed of Warrior Scouts, but not against March and Drill Spears. So we'll get found on both. And Dimmu now switching into Javelins. But we already talked about why this is kind of worrisome. Anotand has now gone into Pro Scouts, which means he's gone into his stables. Which means he can follow up into Horsemen as well. Funnily enough, he's actually adding in the archer range, but that's because he doesn't see the play yet. Right? The Javelins haven't been revealed to him. He only sees archers. Roost without Pro Scouts feels slow. I don't know if I'd say they feel that slow. The Hunt and Cameron still give you just so much gold gen, plus the sheep gathering. Like, you still do pretty well. There's the All Pikes. Such a dirty tech, man. Plus 2 damage. For Spearman, that's a pretty bulky 25% increase on your damage output. And Spears like are the answer to a Javelin switch here. It's almost like Anno's kind of baiting him with the archers being added in. Like, you can definitely afford to do a 1-1-1 build here, but when Doomu sees archers, it's going to pivot hard into Javelins, which means you won't counter Spearman at all. Scouts are going to be a little bit annoying, but ultimately, with the archers now revealed, that's the key piece of info I feel like Anotand kind of wanted to give to Doomu. So Javelin's now being added in. We dive here. The Anotand didn't respect the emplacement. Loses 3 spears on the horseman. But the Pro Scouts have dragged away a lot of the deer right next to Doomu's base. So this is looking like a 3-1 split at this rate. Because right now you've seen Doomu, instead of going for his own deer, just keeps intercepting the enemy scouts. Now, this works for the time being because Anno just doesn't have enough units to punish truly. But we're kind of reaching the point where you won't be able to do that anymore. All right, 7 to 8 archers is enough to start sniping down these Warrior Scouts when they contest the Pro Scouts. Yeah, like I assure you, even when Pro Scouts is gone, Roost still have a lot of upsides in their economy. There is no other civ in the game that can go without gold as long as they can. Like, even Doomu here, he had to come out to build pit mines to get gold to compete. If you're a Roost and you're under this pressure, like, if you had to name one civ in the game that you could not outpost rush, which civ would it be, chat? If I say 2, it's pretty obvious. It would be English, and the other one would be Roost. Some people maybe would add in Mongols because of where they can place their TC, but like the most obvious ones are like Roost and English. English because if they see your villager, they shortbow snipe, and then Roost is because they don't have anything you can rush. Right? They don't go on their gold at all. Meanwhile, these 2 civs can be fairly susceptible to outpost rushes. I think HRE in particular is hard to outpost rush. Malians is possibly the worst civ in the game at trying to outpost rush now that I think about it. Because your spearmen are just too expensive. They're really good if you can scale them, but they just take a little bit too long. Anotand's starting to macro for castle. With the amount of food he's got off the map, theoretically you could go Burgrave. There is a risk that your opponent can spam Misafadi, but this is where All Pikes is in particular very interesting. Like, technically, you could just zerg a million spears with wall pikes. Then again, with a position like this on the map, surely you just take the easy win. With the area control you have, it feels like 4 relics is pretty easily obtainable. And there we go. Yeah, Graynet's on the way. You'd think with mine work, most people just want to go Burgrave, but the reality is because of the fact you have to build additional prelates, Regnet feels really good. Because Anotand already has 3 prelates, you can already walk out for relics at an early point. This is kind of like what Delhi do with scaling scholars. But the moment they hit the castle age, they're already sitting on all the relics. Dimu is indeed looking like he's going to be going towards Farimba. We've seen him do this before this week alone. He's been doing it a lot on the ladder at the moment. Mass javelins into Farimba Javelineers. For Anotand, the play now would be to go to Horseman. Horseman would be the most organic counter. Archers are going to just get massacred by Javelineers. It's very interesting in this particular matchup because all it does with Javelineers, in different matchups, the Javelineers' movement speed allows you to infinitely kite other opponents. Against HRE, it simply rebalances the playing field so that marching drills is equaled. Nice to follow up. Okay, Anotand. So yeah, he's going to be going for the Steel Barding build, right? Interesting. So Horseman would have given him more flood power, but if he believes he's going to get 4 relics off the map, Steel Barding Knights makes a lot more sense because he's got enough passive gold to justify. And he's definitely leaning hard into this play. First one's being picked up off the flank. Has to pull the prelate back here. Javelin's intercepting. We've been seeing a little bit more of this Knight Barding play recently. It's pretty disgusting just how effective it is. The way I like to describe it is it's like having English armorclad for knights. Which just saying that out loud makes you want to vomit a bit. It's pretty bloody strong when you dissect the numbers. Even against the javelins. Javelins will go up to like 10 base damage, right? They'll be reduced down to, if they get maxed out, they go up to 12. They'll be reduced down to 4 damage per strike. Now, the poison is still going to matter a lot here, don't get me wrong. But the knights aren't going to flop as dead as quickly as you'd like. I'd actually love to see Anno just consider spears plus knights, actually. Instead, I think he's leaning archer knights. Does he not know about the Javelineer choice? Well, he sees the Farimba. He can now see the Mancer Javelineers. This is where archers tends to feel just bad. And there you go. Immediately queues up the Steel Barding. He's going to keep adding in more archers. They are decent raiders. I think that's the idea now. He knows he can't win a fight with them, but he can pressure the economy. Another thing he's doing here is pretty smart. Anotand is pulling Dimu to the back of his base so he can go back for the relics. Dimu has to choose. He can either stop you getting relics or he can stop you killing his gold workers. Because Dimu is massing Javelineers, he has to choose one of the two. He can't just say, oh, I don't need gold for 4 minutes. I'll just, I'll camp relics and I'll be fine. It would kill him in this game. And it's all because of this outpost. This was the pivotal moment in the game. So soon to be 3 relics home. Soon to be 4, actually. He even took the one from the far west side, so... very feasible 5 relic game, actually. He does at least scout the knight play early. So could look to switch up into Donzos, but this is why Anotand's doing archer knights. He's essentially just playing like the Irobids normally play with the Camel Lance archer build. Only imagine if the Irobids had a giga boosted economy. So much prelate buff efficiency. Even the devoutness now on the way. I really like devoutness with mine work actually, because if you do have to go Imperial Age, you can pull 3 prelates and buff the entire worker line to rush the landmark. Same with keep drops, everything really. Donzo switch is coming from Dimu. He's forced to. Food count shouldn't be a problem for him. He's got plenty of gold still, so he's able to just keep eating cow all day. Does need to think about reclaiming that 4 gold, though. He's down to his final 500 in this vein. Ooh, so what's Dumu's win condition? I think he was really focused on the idea of raiding with the Javelineers. It just hasn't come together so far. He needs this knight number to thin a bit first. Anotand, even adding crossbows. You might be wondering, why would Anno need crossbows? It's because Dumu, when he's been playing this recently, it's usually been Javelineers into eventual Sofa. It's a really good composition. You'd think that your opponent would already be building spears into javelins, but I think it's tricky to get the scale point right with how easily Javelineers can kite and kill spears off. Normal javelins would just get shut down by spears, but like these guys just kite too well. So with that in mind, like your opponent not having spears means you can just go Sofa. So Anotand may be a bit paranoid about that, has tried to just get crossbows prepped. Javelins. A little bit out of position here. Knights are going to get the charge in. And Archers with the cutoff here. Dumu, this is a third of his army that matters to the Javelineers. She better shuffle away. And you see what I mean about how frustrating this movement speed is. It's why I thought originally he might consider Horsemen just for the quicker gap close. But you want the general applicability of Knights. Gets a little bit chased down. Reinforcement wave is here. Anotand is going to commit into the attack. He's got some Knights ready to peel. A little bit slow on the move there. Wasn't quite microing the Knights in. Anotand seemed to be a bit distracted, but has chased away one group. Has more troops rallying in. Right now, Dumu heavily outnumbered, and watch how quickly that javelin count is going down. Donzo's barely anything left to hold on. These Knights just not really dying quick enough. This is brutal, man. He's got the +2 damage, but each of these doing 4 damage. 10 of them, that's like 40 damage going through. The poison, sure, great, over time, but it's so slow to kill. The Knights are finding their value and finding what they need. Dive into the base now. If he just peels a group of archers, Dumu could lose half his economy. Anotand isn't interested in trickle kills. He's not interested in etching a slight lead. He wants a dominant statement here in game number 4. Dominant it will be. Dumu able to kite away, but leaves the villagers behind. Loses several of them in the engagement. And the dive continues on in here. Knight count is at least thinned. Javelineer count is holding strong. What is not holding strong is Dumu's economy. In fact, he can just dial back and across. Yeah, finds more workers coming back. That's a 20 villager lead. And I know, options on the table. You either double down here or you go for the castle play. Either or, even as a farm transition underway behind this in a game where Dumu hasn't even added in the ranches. What is up, Zeltwanger? Thank you very much for the sub, mate. Welcome back to the spawn. The spawn? Oh, welcome back to Dumu's spawn. It feels like he's never really been able to leave this base. So, wave at least gets cleared up. But you really wouldn't think that Anotand lost the fight in any meaningful way. Like, the worker kills aside, even the military count now. It's 45 to 27. Now, a lot of that is in prelates. We've got an interesting switcheroo here. Anotand, part of this is about optimizing economy up at 61, but part of this, I think, might be about inspired warriors, potentially. It's not a bad shout. Extra armor for the knights. At that stage, Javelin's only doing 3 damage to them. And he's just sneaking in now. He saw that wide rotation on the west side, immediately reacts. He's still got archers waiting on the back as well. This is just suffocating. Dumu doesn't really have the full info about where these raids are coming from. Anotand has just been very surgical about this. You know, for Dumu, what he was looking for this whole time was that direct engagement at the early phase, so that his javelins could kite a win. But he's never given it. Now, desperation strikes, right? He has to head into the enemy base. Reluctantly so. He's still getting raided at home. That finally gets shut down. But it's now more workers dead in this game than alive for Dumu at 20 minutes in. Now, we've seen him pull off those type of miracles before with the Malians. Different opponent, I think it's fair to say, and a different state of game, though. I think we all remember that Baldland Voldemar Dumu game. I know. Macro doesn't lie. Castle Age seems to be the target. It's crazy how many more knights he's still flooding while going castle as well. Triple Sacred Site locked in. Game series looking to be locked in. It means we will be locked into a BC versus Anotand Grand Finals. Interesting history between those two as well. Recently, Beastie able to beat Anotand in the EGC Masters, but last time they met in the Midweek Masters, it was Beastie that got 3-0'd by Anno. On top of that, Anotand, currently the reigning champion, with 3 weeks in a row won. Lines us up for what could be one hell of an epic series. I'm about to say one person, that's going to be taking a while. I wouldn't be surprised if Dimu calls it the moment the tech comes out. He might just try to punt at this. It's a very low percentile chance to win now. The problem has always remained the same. He's never been able to attack. Never really. Anotand is just kind of giving you a masterclass on how to control the short ramp. How could he have changed this outcome? I don't know if a classic Fulani would have been viable here. Probably too slow. But this is what I mean about Javelineers. Like, Javelineers requires momentum. And yeah, there it is. GG comes out. So Dimu will not be making it to Grand Final Showdown with Beastie. It's going to be Anno versus Beastie. Let me know what you guys thought about the series. Let me know what you think about the upcoming one. And who you think is going to be crowned king of Midweek Muster number 14. I'll catch you all in the next chapter.